Gang, if this is not Schadenfreude, I really don't know what is. Do you remember Scandinavian Airlines and their woke commercial entitled, "Nothing is truly Scandinavian"? Do you remember that? Remember, everything in Scandinavia is borrowed. It's all foreign. And so we should embrace the glories of globalism, right? Do you remember that? Well, irony of ironies, that same airline has just had to lay off 90% of their workers because of a foreign virus. Gang, you cannot make this stuff up. We're going to take a look at the latest fail to come out of the woke business world. If you go woke, you get broke, right? And it's a further demonstration that nothing has exposed the lies of globalist propaganda quite like the coronavirus. Stay tuned. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Wonderful to be with you as always. A super happy Monday to each and every one of you. And a warm welcome to all of our new viewers. You know, we post 2 videos a day analyzing current events and some super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. So it's great to have you here. And if you haven't already done so, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel, as we together each and every day with your fellow 250,000 of your fellow conservatives celebrate the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age centered on nationalism, populism, and traditionalism. Now, before we get into the latest failure among the dying breed of woke businesses, make sure to download your free gift, which we just put together just for you. I'm going to have to stop laughing. I'm enjoying this commercial a little too much. Sorry. Our fake news antidote. It is a compilation of about 20 sites that I go to for my news, and you can download it completely free at the link down below in the pinned comment section. I think you're going to really find it quite a valuable resource. We have the hyperlinks on there so you can go to each of the sites. And finally, you know, death in the family can be hard, but unfortunately we all have to at some point deal with it sooner or later. And one of the things we have to deal with, it's the simple fact that all of us leave behind final expenses such as funeral costs, medical bills, and other debts. Now, in fact, I don't know if you know this, but the average funeral alone costs between $8,000 and $9,000. So what that means is that having no insurance when you die, it can actually leave loved ones with a huge bill to deal with. And obviously, none of us wants that. But you can take control of your family's destiny today and have the satisfaction that they will be financially taken care of. So make sure to click on the link below and visit our good friends over at ratefamily.com and get a free quote. So you get no waiting periods. It's 100% benefits, even if you've been turned down before. They guarantee coverage for everybody, no matter the situation. You heard that right. They guarantee coverage for everybody, no matter the situation. So don't wait. Click on that link below and visit ratefamily.com or simply give them a call at 1-855-919-RATE. You'll be glad that you did. All right, everyone, let's dive in here. And I promise I'll try not to enjoy this too much. It's going to be hard. I'll admit it. It's going to I already can't get it out without just laughing. And I'm not going to gloat. We're not going to gloat on one. I admit it. All right. We should not be doing that. But this really is just too good. All right. It's way too good to pass up. Let me set up the context here. Do you remember this commercial, this very commercial from Scandinavian Airlines?
What is truly Scandinavian?
Grattis!
Absolutely nothing.
Nada.
Niente.
There is no such thing.
Everything is copied. Our
Vi
democracy,
människor som tillsammans formar framtiden.
credit goes to Greece. Parental leave,
Thank you, Switzerland.
the iconic Scandinavian windmills were actually invented in Persia. And we made the German bicycle a staple of our cities. It's Turkish.
What?
Smapple?
Dutch.
What about licorice?
It's Chinese. And
Midsommarstången?
German.
Then it gets worse.
Rumor has it the oh-so-Swedish meatballs might not be as Swedish as you think, but Turkish.
Even the Danish isn't Danish.
It's Austrian. And the pride of Norway, the paperclip, was actually invented by an American.
And while we're at it,
America, thank you for taking the first steps in empowering the women's rights movement. We're no better
than our Viking ancestors.
We take everything we like on our trips abroad, adjust it a little bit, and
voila!
It's a unique Scandinavian thing. Going out into the world inspires us to think big, even though we're quite small. Because every time we go beyond our borders, we add colors, innovation,
Progress.
adding the best of everywhere to here. In a way, Scandinavia was brought here. Piece by piece. By everyday people who found the best of our home away from home. So, we can't wait to see what wonderful things you'll bring home next.
Now, according to these marketing executives over at Scandinavian Airlines, nothing is truly Scandinavian, all right? And then the commercial funnels out all these bizarre, these stereotypes. I mean, think about it. They funnel out Swedish meatballs and Danish pastries and and windmills. And they're all these iconic Scandinavian landscapes are systematically discredited. They're all exposed as inherently foreign to the Scandinavian people, right? Now, it's clearly a pro-globalist, pro-immigration commercial. And when it first came out, we did a video on this. It was greeted with a massive backlash led by nationalist populist parties like the Danish People's Party. One leader there came out and basically said that the ad spit on everything that was genuinely Danish. The Swedish Democrats came out and they denounced the ad as a perfect example of self-hatred and devilish nonsense. We got into that in the last video. And it became pretty clear pretty quickly that Scandinavian Airlines, well, they more or less provoked a hornet's nest in all this. And so they very, very quickly pulled the ad. They got rid of it, but not before the damage was done. And then, as if to make matters even worse, just a few hours later, they put up a highly edited and sanitized version of the ad. And they shut down the comment section on YouTube, so you can't comment on it. And they issued this statement. They said, when we travel, we influence our surroundings and we are influenced by others. The experiences we bring back from our travels inspire us as individuals, but also our society. Well, that's one way of putting it, huh? You were almost right, oh Scandinavian Airlines. I probably wouldn't use the word inspire. The experiences we bring back from our travels don't necessarily inspire. As it turns out, those travels certainly can cause some expiring rather than inspiring, if you'll excuse the pun there. But now, with the whole coronavirus doing its damage in Europe, this once woke globalist airline that actually thought that they were in a place to lecture all Scandinavians and the rest of us on how we all ought to be grateful for globalism and globalization, this airline is now officially broke. It's being reported that Scandinavian Airlines has had to let go, if you can believe it, they have had to let go 90% of their employees. Now, this is being reported as a temporary layoff, okay? So once the virus, the pandemic panic dissipates, they'll be able to hire the people back. We'll have to see. But it's clearly in direct response to the border closings that have been ordered by virtually all Scandinavian nations, most particularly Denmark. Apparently, they're not all particularly pleased with what travelers abroad have been bringing back with them, shall we say. So the lesson that Scandinavian Airlines is learning the hard way, to be honest with you, is that their pro-globalist vision of the world that they sought to lecture all the rest of us with in that patently absurd commercial, that pro-globalist vision of the world has, as a result of this virus, been exposed to be an absolute farce. It's a farce fabricated by a bunch of gentry liberals who serve as our political and economic ruling class, wholly removed from the way the world actually works as we see it. As it turns out, irony of ironies, a virus, a pandemic that has spread disease through porous and permeable borders. It was this pandemic that more than anything else exposed the open borders advocates throughout Europe and the United States to be, frankly, the lunatics that we've known them to be solely through our political and economic and cultural analysis here on this channel. Nobody of note, I guess I should say, but virtually nobody is advocating any vision even remotely like that advocated by Scandinavian Airlines in their original woke commercial. Nobody. And that's because pandemics have a way of making open borders look patently absurd. Now, of course, we know on this channel, open borders have always been absurd. That whole notion's ridiculous. Borders and boundaries are inextricably inherent to identity. Without borders, no one has identity, period, right? Whether that identity is a religious identity or a national identity or ethnic or cultural, whatever. Every team, every sporting event, every school, every family, every airline has boundaries. It has borders without which it wouldn't exist. A borderless world is an absurd world. We've always acknowledged that on this channel from day one. It's never a question of whether you're going to have borders. The question is, you know it, the question is simply which ones? What are your borders? Where do they begin? Where do they end? What's their nature? I always found it so fascinating that those who advocate, have you ever noticed this? Those who advocate open borders tend to be the biggest proponents of cancel culture. Have you ever noticed that? So ironic. Those who advocate inclusivity when it comes to our borders tend to also be the first ones to demand exclusivity in terms of what kind of words or speech that we can use or who is allowed and not allowed on social media platforms and the like. Isn't that interesting? You're always going to have borders. You're always going to have those who are in and those who are out, as it were. If there were no borders, there'd be no difference between good and evil. If there were no borders, there'd be no difference between right and wrong. Borders and boundaries are an inherent property of the law of non-contradiction, where two contradictory propositions or identities or events or whatever cannot possibly both be true at the exact same time and in the same context. We have always known this. It's a fundamental law of being. What makes the virus so significant is now everybody knows this. Everybody can now see that what Scandinavian Airlines advocated in that commercial is complete and total and utter nonsense. And unfortunately, 90% of their employees are now paying for that absurdity. Where the open borders visions of globalists has really, in so many ways, come back to bite us all. All right, everyone, now for some really good news. Before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it on the border situation in Greece, right? The crisis that they're having at the Greek-Turkish border. They've erected massive concrete walls, Greek forces have, to stop the flood of migrants threatening to enter their nation. It is going to blow you away, the measure that Greek security forces are taking to secure not only their borders, but the borders of the whole of the continent of Europe. Again, it's going to absolutely make your day. We're so proud of them. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.